Penny Fleming loved mining here in the hills of Kentucky.
I worked here for 16 years.
So it's no surprise that he voted for Donald Trump.
We are going to put our coal miners back to work. They have not been treated well, but they're going to be treated well now.
But Fleming is worried that Trump might not live up to his campaign promises. These are images of Fleming's lungs.
So this cloudiness is what we refer to as black lung disease.
That's true. We're diagnosing more and more cases.
It's an old disease that's making a comeback. Doctors recently identified the largest cluster ever found, 416 advanced cases. Miners' lungs turn black and stiff with coal dust. It's incurable and deadly. But at least Fleming doesn't have to worry about medical bills. His health care has been paid for by a federal tax on coal mining companies. But in the future, he might not be covered. The tax that's been helping him, it gets cut in half at the end of this year. And President Trump's proposed budget does nothing to stop that cut from happening. According to a new government report obtained by CNN, if that tax cut goes through, the fund for the miners could go $15 billion into debt by 2050. Congressman Bobby Scott represents coal miners in Virginia.
The problem with letting the debt explode is that once it becomes clearly unsustainable, there'll be pressure to cut benefits.
So if these benefits go away, how do you think this community is going to feel?
Betrayed.
The Trump administration says if the tax on coal companies isn't enough, the government can just borrow money from the taxpayers. A Labor Department spokesman telling CNN miners who are entitled to federal black lung benefits will continue to receive those benefits. But Scott says borrowing money from taxpayers isn't the solution. He's fighting to keep coal companies paying the current tax.
The last option, the last thing we ought to consider is letting the tax expire and letting the problem get worse.
Kenny Fleming just wants to make sure that coal miners aren't abandoned.
If you could talk to President Trump right now, what would you say to him?
Please help us. Supposedly, he was for the forgotten man and woman. And if this isn't addressed, then that's a bunch of people that are forgotten.
Elizabeth Cohen, CNN, Pikeville, Kentucky.